In today's video, I'm going to show you 3 kits that is going to make your backcountry camping experience a whole lot better. And these are not survival kits. Stick around. I love making kits and putting together kits for my outdoor adventures that I go on, for hiking and camping. And what I like to do is I like to have things divided into subloads, so when I'm loading them into a large backpack, it just makes finding that stuff easier and keeping it organized. Now, what I want to show you today is 3 separate kits that go into my backpack when I go camping. And just to define what camping is for me, because it's always something different for everybody, the primary camping that I do is dispersed camping. It tends to be in national forests. And, I travel and meet some buddies, and we, find a place to park, and then we kind of strike off into the woods and find a spot to set up. And typically I'm doing either tarp camping or hammock camping, sometimes tent, just depending on the weather. I use a couple of different backpacks, either a very large backpack for my winter gear that's going to hold, my winter bag and my tent and all that extra gear you need, those layers for keeping warm. And then in the spring and summer, I'll downsize a little bit, go to a smaller backpack, and that's going to have my hammock. But there are always certain items that are always going to go with me no matter where I go and no matter what type of camping I'm doing. And what I've found is that there are a couple items that are key for me that I have to have, and I want to show you how I keep these things organized. And hopefully this will just give you some ideas of how to build your kit if you're maybe just starting out and you want to know, what am I supposed to bring camping? Well, maybe these things are things that you've never thought about. So let's take a look and see exactly what I have. So we have all kinds of kits laid out here. These, we're not going to talk about all of these. What I want to show you are 3. Now the first one we're going to look at is this kit. This is what I would call like my possibles pouch, something that it has items that I'm going to need primarily in an emergency, or they're things I'm not accessing all the time, but you need to have them. So we're going to look at that. So this pouch is from Tuff Possum Gear. It is his utility possibles pouch. I like the size of this thing. I've talked about it in other videos. It's very well made in the US. What's nice about it is 3-dimensional, and when you fill it, you can actually stand it up with contents in it. So it makes getting into it and utilizing it easy. And then what I've done is I've added a strap to it that basically just gives it a handle, but also a place to hang when I get to camp. And then on the outside, I have this glow tag. I have no idea where I got this from. I think it came in a trade or something with some other gear. But I've got it carabinered to the strap right here. That way I can identify this bag. I can find it easily in the dark. Just makes finding things a lot easier in camp. Now, I call this a possibles pouch because the possibility of something happening when camping, especially primitive camping, you need to be prepared for. And you can't predict every scenario, but there are certain things that you need to take care of since you are far away from civilization or a town. So there are a couple things that I like to keep in this. Like I said, these are things that I don't use all the time. So the first thing is a head net, a bug net, and then cordage. just having some backup cordage. Now, if I'm running a hammock or a tarp, I'm going to have a ridge line already made, and I'm utilizing that. But I want to have some backup cordage just to do some certain things. So if the ridge line that I've built breaks or whatever, the 550 cord, there's enough here that I can make a ridge line. Bank line, of course, I can use for tie downs for my tarp. It gives me the ability to do some repairs, some building, and just take care of some, different things that happen when I'm in camp. Next item, super important, is some type of repair item. Things fail, your clothing gets rips and tears, you could lose the sole on your boot, your tarp gets a rip in it. So one thing that I've started carrying and I just recently got was this line spool from Father Nomad. It's small, independent guy. He 3D prints all this really cool stuff, and this is one of his designs that he came up with, this little spool. And what's great about it is the spool comes empty, but it comes with this black rubber band that holds a sail needle perfectly on the side there, and then it came with the sail needle. And then I added a smaller diameter needle on the other side, and then I took Kevlar cord, which is very tough stuff. It's actually very hard to cut with a scissor. You have to use a knife blade to cut it, but you could actually sew with it. You can fish with it. There's just a lot of different things you can do with it. It's great stuff. And this little spool tool from Father Nomad is awesome. Doesn't take up a lot of room, doesn't weigh very much, but it is ingenious in how he's built this with the needle holders on the side. I like to maintain my blades when I'm out in the woods. This is a piece from another sharpening kit. I think this is a DMT diamond plate. I'm not really sure. I think it originally came with some type of folding sharpening tool, but in any case, this is nice and lightweight. There's enough grit to it that I can put an edge back on a knife pretty quickly. Doesn't take up a lot of room. Of course, our friend duct tape and Gorilla Tape is the best. So much better than regular duct tape, so just a roll of that. I like to keep a little razor knife in my kit. That way I can cut the cord that's on this. I can cut out precise pieces of material if I'm repairing something. And then a couple of different patches. These are nylon patches. They are sticky back, so they're like a sticker. You peel off the back and then stick it on. But then what I can do is I can sew it down. But if I get a rip in my rain jacket or on my tarp, at least I have a couple different ways of repairing that until I get home. One thing I'm not showing in here is a multi-tool. Or a Swiss Army knife. Those things are on me. I carry those things on me. I don't put them in a bag like this. And then the last item I have in this kit is a water purification kit. Now, typically, I'm not doing a lot of water purification when I'm on trips. Usually there's enough water that we can bring with us or access in the area that we don't need to do a lot of purification or filtration. But I do like to have a system with me. I don't want it to be overly bulky. The system that I've found that I like that is very lightweight and small is this set from, I think this is Aquamira. This is the Frontier Pro. And it's very similar to a Sawyer in the fact that you can screw this onto your dirty bag of water and then either squeeze it out or let it drip and do it that way. It also comes with a hose, and there's an adapter that you can put this in line on a water hydration bladder. I do bring a few aqua tabs in case I need to drop those into a water bottle. This just as a backup. And then, of course, a water bag of some sort. Now, I'm going to always carry a larger bladder of water in my pack. This is for collecting dirty water and attaching it to the filter. Then we're going to look at my electronics kit. It's just a matter of fact these days that we have a lot of electronic devices with us. Of course, when I'm going out, I'm filming a lot, and I do all that on my phone. So I need a battery pack. I need, you know, accessories that are going to keep that phone running, but also keep some of my other gear going as well. So that's what this is. This is the electronics pouch, electronics kit. Like I said, I'm filming with my phone, so I'm using my phone when I'm out in the woods all the time. It is my primary video camera and photo taking camera. So I need a way of powering that because I will run out of juice on a 3-day trip very easily. And what I found is a nice battery bank is the way to go. The best ones that I've found are from Anchor. There's a lot of different ones on the market. This is one of their smaller ones, and I just like this one because it's very compact in its size. It's very simple. It does have a USB. That's how you're going to connect to your devices to charge them, and then the input is that input right there. Now, headlamps, you can spend a lot of money on these things. And I've tried a lot of different ones. I've had some very expensive ones. I've had a lot of them that have failed me. And recently, I've just been using this one, and it's from Ozark Trail. It's not a very expensive headlamp, but what I like about it is that it's very lightweight. It is rechargeable. It has several different settings. There is a spot, and then there is a more of a flood. So a couple different ways that you can use this, and I got to tell you, this headlamp has never given me any issues. As cheap as it is, I think it's under 20 bucks when I got it. It's rechargeable, doesn't take regular batteries. You know, I keep taking it out with me. It keeps working, so I'm not giving up on it. I like it. It works pretty well. Now, cords are always an issue. You know, especially with me, I have a lot of different devices. This headlamp takes a different input than my iPhone. My iPhone takes a different input than the wireless microphones that I use for recording video. And on that one for an input. And then it has the lightning cable for Apple. It has that USB-C again. And then it has the old style one like that, and that's actually what works on my headlamp. So I don't know where I got this from. I think it came with a flashlight or something years ago, but I'm sure that Amazon has something very similar to this. This has saved me so many times because I don't have to carry a bunch of different cords. I can carry this and I'm good to go. And then the only other thing that I carry as a backup for my headlamp, because like I said, I've had headlamps fail in the field, and that sucks when you're camping for 2 or 3 days and your headlamp goes out and you can't get it to charge, or it's not working for whatever reason. So you need something in your kit that can kind of fill that void. And what I've found is these little inexpensive pen lights that take a single AA battery are perfect, because with these, I can clip this to the bill of my baseball cap, and now I have a headlamp. And then this one came with a diffuser, which makes it even more perfect because I can put this on the ridge line of my hammock and have a little lantern. This one is from Tackware. It is the TW100. I've had this for several years now. It works all the time. It's just a fantastic little light. It's very similar to the Streamlight, but I love that it came with a diffuser, and that diffuser glows in the dark as well. So once you charge that thing up, that's going to glow in the dark. And I love the size of this pouch. It's very small. This will fit in a cargo pants pocket very easily. Has a good grab handle. Once again, I can clip this to the ridgeline on my tarp, or hanging on a branch at camp, and I can find it very quickly. And then the third one we're going to look at is my first aid and hygiene pouch. Super important stuff. You have to have first aid, especially if you're camping dispersed and doing primitive camping, where getting some kind of assistance could be miles. So having a basic first aid kit to treat all those boo-boos and minor cuts and things like that, you need to have that. But also some personal hygiene items are a must, and everything I need is in here. I've combined these because I don't want to carry a lot of extra first aid stuff. First aid gear can get pretty out of hand pretty quickly. I don't bring a lot of trauma gear in my years of camping. The injuries that I've seen have always been because of knives and axes, and it's always pretty minor. It's usually, a cut to the hand or to the leg that can be easily treated. So what I'm using is this Maxpedition pouch, and I'll have a link to this down below in my Amazon store if you're interested in this pouch. I love this pouch. This is Maxpedition's first aid pouch, but what's fantastic about it is that it clamshells open and it has two different compartments. So in this compartment, I keep my first aid kit, and this is a lot of boo-boo type stuff, but there is a few other tricks up my sleeve in this that can treat some bigger wounds. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I want to highlight a couple items that I think are worth having. So one item that I carry in my first aid kit when I'm out is moleskin. Moleskin is going to cushion and protect blisters on your feet. So if you're breaking in some new boots, or your boots get wet and they're chafing the back of your ankles, rubbing your back of your ankles, or your heel, this works great. Put this with some duct tape or some surgical tape, and you will have a good protection of that wound. So this always goes in my first aid kits. Of course, a little container of acetaminophen. That's what I take. I take Tylenol. I don't tolerate ibuprofen very well, so I take this instead. But I do have ibuprofen in here for other people. It is a synthetic absorbable suture. It has the needle built in with it. It comes with a needle. I believe it's a curved needle, and then it has, of course, the suture material. So if things get really bad and there is a very deep cut, and we are, miles from any kind of service, ambulance service, or even cell service, at least I can treat that wound. Now, it's going to suck. I don't want to do this. That is a major thing to do, but I think having something like this is definitely a good idea. And then, of course, I have, in place of a very large tourniquet, I have some latex tubing that can be tied off and create a tourniquet. And that'll help control blood flow. I've got some good sized pads in here, surgical pads, tape, and then another item that I've found useful is a syringe. Now this does not have a needle with it. This is for irrigation. So if we have a really nasty wound, I can fill this up with some clean water and then put that into the wound and get that cleaned out, especially if there's debris in it. Neosporin or polysporin is always a great item to have, especially if you're, cut yourself in the backwoods. You don't want to let that get infected. So getting it cleaned out with that syringe, pouring some water over it, getting it good and dry, and then putting some of this on it is going to help get that wound to heal quicker. And then, of course, there's just a variety of items in here. Bandages. There's some butterfly bandages. I keep a small Mylar blanket just to treat shock. Of course, I've got a way to remove ticks. I have my tick identification card. Then over here on this side, these are more of the toiletry items or hygiene items. I wear contacts and glasses, so I take my contact case, I take some eye drops, I have a small mirror, and usually you can get these at pharmacies. Sometimes these are like given away. I think I may have got this at the fair. Someone gave this to me, but what I like about this one is it actually has a plastic case to it, so it has less likely of getting broken. And then I do like to brush my teeth when I'm out, and just a small travel toothbrush and toothpaste works fine. And then some medications. Right now in this kit I have, I think this is a cold and flu medication. This has acetaminophen and of course a nasal decongestant. I also like to bring along an anti-diarrheal, just because if you're eating something that you haven't eaten before and it makes you sick, you don't want to have diarrhea when you're out in the woods. That's a really bad idea. You'll get dehydrated very quickly. So anti-diarrheal is a good thing to bring. And then also some Benadryl to treat any kind of allergic reactions. And another thing in this kit that I bring along, of course, are my eyeglasses, and I keep those in a hard case. Now, this is a spare pair of glasses. This is not my primary. This is my old prescription. So I hang on to my old prescription. I get a good hard case for them. It goes in the kit. Then on the outside of the kit, I keep wipes. You can use these for cleaning up after yourself when you go to the bathroom. You can also wipe yourself down if you're sweaty and dirty, clean your face. I keep them in this bag. I also have in a separate plastic bag where I keep my toilet paper. I keep another one of these and some hand sanitizers. So that's my toilet kit. That's when I'm going out in the woods to go to the bathroom. That is completely separate, and it's in a basically just a Ziploc bag. So really nothing to show there. But for personal hygiene around camp, these wipes are a fantastic item to add to your kit. Now there's a lot of different brands. I also use the Dude wipes. I like those real well. These are the Continental. They seem to do pretty well. I like those as well, so use them. Just make sure they come in a resealable bag because they do dry out pretty quickly. So you want to check this stuff at the beginning of every season. So these are my go-to kits. These are things that I'm always going to use no matter what the season, no matter where I'm going, no matter the length of the trip. I can add and subtract to this stuff if I need to. These aren't survival items, but these are items that's going to make my camp out a lot more enjoyable and more comfortable, and that's what it's all about. I'm going to have links down below to the affiliates, to Tuff Possum Gear if you're interested in getting some of their pouches. Also my Amazon store, which will have some of these items in there. Make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know what are some of your go-to items for your camping kit. What do you like to bring? And are there things in this that you think I should add? Let me know. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time on The Prepared Wanderer.